Hey, how you guys doing out there? James Humphrey with Associates Plexus Movie Reviews. I got my co-host with me, Jimmy McMillan.
What up?
And as you guys know, or may not know, I think it was September 2nd?
I think so.
Was the 30th anniversary of Batman the Animated Series from 1992 to now.
God, I love that Batmobile. I freaking love that Batmobile.
And so with that, we are doing a Batman month.
Batman!
Of doing, this fucking guy, doing movie reviews.
Who doesn't love Batman?
Everybody loves Batman. Everybody loves Batman. But anyway, we're doing a Batman month of all of the Batman movies from
good to bad. Really, there's only one true horrible one that needs just to be erased from existence.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Anyway, this episode we're doing Batman, and then Batman Returns,
Batman Forever,
and Batman and Robin. Pretty much all the movies from the 90s. So let's get into it. Starting with Batman. Just Batman. Going all the way back to 1989.
Yep. Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson,
and Kim Basinger.
Whatever. Vicky Vale. We're just gonna go with Vicky Vale.
Yeah, well, we can call her Kim. That's her real name. Kim.
Yeah. So awesome movie. I mean, it was. Oh, look at this guy already. I mean, it was the Batman that shaped Batman. You had Tim Burton that helped direct it and write it. And it was such a great movie. And Jack Nicholson's Joker was like the original gangster Joker, the one we deserved. Like, don't get me wrong, I know we'll get to the Dark Knight trilogy, and Heath Ledger's Joker was absolutely flawless, but Jack Nicholson was the OG. God, I love that movie. His car, the suit, the actors they had, everything about it was just so damn perfect. I
will say he played an excellent Joker without having to, I guess, have examples or play upon other or based off other Jokers.
Yeah, I mean,
he most definitely had. Yeah, that's more or less the only Joker he really had to go off of.
Yeah.
So to make that character his own was good. But then, I mean, they got Jack Nicholson playing the Joker, so
and his name was Jack in the movie too, which was kind of funny. So
Jack Nicholson's been acting since the 50s and shit, so
he
was already, I think, in his early 40s, mid 40s when that movie came out. When he played in that movie, he was already had maybe 20 movies in his tank compared to Michael Keaton.
Yeah, he was still a young buck in that one.
Yeah, the thing with Michael Keaton,
his haircut in that first movie though.
Yeah, it's a shitty ass haircut. I don't know what the hell this little
right. He had the little
Richard Jerry curl shit he had going on. Anyway, to finish my thought, the thing with Michael Keaton is that he played a bunch of comedy roles. He didn't really play anything serious until he played Batman. He had, Mr. Mom. He had Beetlejuice. He had all those other.
Beetlejuice was an awesome movie, though.
Shitty ass movies that he did.
Bro, Beetlejuice was the shit.
We're not talking about that movie. Anyway, and so for him to pull off Batman, it wasn't that he did a horrible or bad job. Again, same thing with Jack Nicholson not having a lot of, I guess, Batman previously or comic books previously to go off of, because I believe it was 1989, 1988 when the real good Batman comic books were coming out. I believe Batman Year One came out in 1989, and that pretty much jump-started the modern Batman from then on up.
Went from that kind of kid-friendly cartoon, just stupid bam biff bullshit.
Yeah, and then you had the Super Friends and all the other shit.
Actually had some darkness to it finally.
Yeah, and so it most definitely jump-started the Batman movie franchise.
Yeah.
There are a lot of what I call discrepancies in the movie.
Go on.
Mainly with the bat suit.
I like the suit.
The suit looks nice, and all that stuff. But here's the thing. Batman, or at least the original Batman, didn't have a bulletproof suit that he could just get shot all the time.
Yeah, but that's where the they kind of toss a little bit of realism. If you're a billionaire and you're going to go fight crime, I'm not gonna go out there in my fucking underwear. I'm gonna go out there with something that can take some hits.
Where's the thing, though? He was a ninja. Batman was a ninja. He was able to maneuver, go in the shadows, jump around, and do
There's ninja, and then there's bullets, and bullets fuck ninjas' days up.
No, they don't. Not with Batman. Here's the thing, not with Batman. Even the original Batman, even in the cartoon, 1992 cartoon that we're supposedly celebrating on, Batman didn't have some bulletproof suit to where he had to... They did that for the film. They did that specifically for the film to show that Batman was somewhat vulnerable or invincible, but it's just not accurate. And then I'll start it off with the 1989 Batman. In every single Batman film, he's killed somebody. You know what I mean? There was some...
He has that whole no killing rule.
Yeah, he has the whole...
At the same time, like, he's broken it so many times.
So many times.
So many times.
So many times. So. Like, in the scene where he blew up the factory.
Yeah. Dude. So many people died in that. Like,
well, he drove the Batmobile literally all the way in there where all the people were there, and then he dropped bombs and blew the whole fucking thing up. I'm like, are we not going to
discuss the fact that he basically had, like, 7 murder charges?
Mm-hmm.
Yet the cops are applauding him, which, I mean, granted.
He did have some sweet gadgets, I guess. He had the one little bat launcher where he grabbed the bitch and then he swung out of there.
How much do you weigh? 110 my ass.
Yeah. And then they had the Batmobile that looked,
And the iconic line from the Joker, though. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah. You ever want to hit a man with glasses? Joker was funny, but then... Again, he more or less killed him when he hooked him up against the thing and let him fall all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, he did pretty much kill the Joker.
And then I feel like, I know it's supposedly supposed to be a kid film.
My ass.
The thing with their image of Gotham, well, these really, really tall, high skyscraper buildings. And this motherfucker fell from... How many stairs that Batman climbed up there to get?
Oh, right.
He would have splattered.
It was literally like the damn stair set in Ghostbusters where they're just going up there for like years.
If he fell from that, the Joker would literally splattered all over the fucking floor. There's no way his body would be
tomato.
Still, there's no way in hell his body would be still together.
Right.
Anyway, by the end of the film, Batman sends a letter to the mayor or the people.
A symbol.
And tell them, hey, if you ever need me, here's a bat signal and all this other shit. The soundtrack was very iconic because it was pretty more or less written by Prince. The whole soundtrack was...
Really? For the first time? I never knew that. I never paid attention to the soundtrack, though, for that, because I would have thought it would have
written and produced by Prince. Well, that's back when Prince... I don't need to dive too deep into it, but this is back when Prince was still attached to Warner Brothers with Purple Rain and all this other stuff, so he did... Whatever. Anyway.
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
I remember referencing Animaniacs.
Awesome soundtrack. And the movie is not the worst Batman movie.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting, though, because how they had the Joker's connection to Batman in that. Because technically the Joker killed his parents. And
thank you for reminding me of that huge-ass plot hole there. Because
I was gonna say that is a plot hole in that sense, because theoretically the Joker's in his 30s in that movie, like supposedly.
Even if he's his 20s, in his early 20s when he killed Batman's parents,
he would be like friggin' 40, 50 years old by the time he. And so that would mean Bruce, that's supposed to be in his 20s or whatever, being Batman, getting his ass kicked by a 50-year-old.
Yeah,
that is a plot hole.
That is a huge ass plot hole.
It's kind of a neat concept. Like, if the Joker didn't age, like Ra's al Ghul,
and then even then, he's telling them all this. Like, I'm assuming the Joker has killed dozens and dozens of people after this. Like, how is he even going to remember, like, whose specific parents did I kill of yours to get you all pissed off and hot and bothered about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
which I don't know. He didn't really acknowledge that it was Bruce, did he?
No, I don't think so. I think he just was bitching about, you killed my parents, and
he's like, hey, you say I made you made me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. still an alright movie. Let's moving on.
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns.
I'm way too excited for this episode.
Direct sequel. I think this came out in 1992.
Yeah, it had Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
Yeah.
And then Christopher Walken.
Had Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yep, that's Catwoman.
And
I'm trying to think. Pretty much kept all original cast, which was cool.
Well, you say all original cast. There's only 2 cast members that came for the first one.
They had the same Gordon.
Oh yeah, they said the same Alfred and same.
Did they keep Billy D. I think that's his name, right? Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't stick around in the second one, did he?
I think they mentioned Dent, but I don't think that he had ever made an appearance
in the second one.
Yeah.
Also, a good movie. I mean,
yeah.
It was kind of a cool twist on how Penguin technically was the Penguin.
It most definitely upgraded from the first one. You know, the gadgets were better. The Batmobile was better, even though the Batmobile got fucked up.
Dude, the Batmobile did get fucked up. That was so cool.
They changed the suit a little bit. You know. In the first, I believe the first one, he had this muscular nipple thing going on. And then they changed it
Batman's
to
had nipples from 89 all the way up.
Yeah, almost. And then they changed it to some sort of other different design.
Yeah.
You know?
A little bit more slimmer in a sense. Less added on, I guess you would say.
And then I will say this is back then when plots were genuine. They wasn't too realistic, but they were genuine. So, you know, the Penguin got dumped, whatever.
Kid gets dumped in the sewer.
You know,
there's no way he's going to survive.
No. Hell no.
That's its own plot twist, or plot hole is.
Yeah.
A baby, regardless of mutation or whatever, he
was born with the defect, but then, again, there's no way he was going to survive.
So how the hell did he learn the English at that point, too?
Well, the truth is, he was picked up by an orphanage. They more or less didn't play that in the story. Was he got picked up by an orphanage? In his actual character or whatever. So, you know. Anyway, I'm still tripping about the fucking ending, but I get to the ending here in a second. They brought in Catwoman's character, who more or less replaces Kim Basinger's character from Vicky Vale's from the first one, and she's working for Christopher Walken, who pushes this bitch out of an 8-story
something like
building.
That. It's pretty tall. And she goes through 2 or 3 banners and then finally smacks the ground. And it has an itty bitty cut.
I understand if that didn't kill her. But this bitch ain't just getting up and walking off like she be in a wheelchair or something. You know what I mean? Again, they paint this image of Gotham as this big noir, tall buildings kind of city,
kind of a metropolis,
and they can just push anybody off of it, and then nobody dies. You know,
nobody splats
nobody splats or whatever.
So
anyway, you know, she gets home and bashes a bunch of shit, and then becomes Catwoman. Well, but she doesn't.
I mean, the spiritualness of the cats are what brought her back.
Yeah. Here's the thing: she's not a cat burglar.
Yeah.
She didn't steal a single fucking thing in the movie
until after the fact.
You know,
it's all of a sudden she smacks her head and it's around a cat and well, fuck it, I'm a cat now. And then
falls in the greenhouse and screams and that's it.
Kitty litter.
Yeah. The real plot is obviously the Penguin trying to become the mayor.
And take over
Gotham. And then his plans more or less get
shit on by Batman.
And the funny part is he takes control of the Batmobile, talks a bunch of shit, and Batman records him, and that's how his whole plan fails, with him just mouthing off at the end toward the mid of the movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Which drives him back to the sewer and all that.
And then Batman gets on his little mixer and he starts mixing the sound and everything to play over the voiceover and the whole thing, which is it's funny how people will turn on you in the matter of seconds, because they were all for the Penguin until Batman started mixing and all this other shit, which he only mixed one line out of the whole plan that he said. Yeah. That's it. I felt like he could have recovered from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he only said what he said. I
played this city like a wrench from hell, or
some
like that, yeah.
some bullshit like that. It's like, oh, I didn't say that. It could be like a bash campaign or something against them. I felt like he could have recovered it instead of just taking it off like that. You know what I mean?
The guiltiness.
Anyway, he goes back to the error of his ways in the sewer, and now his new plan
is to take all the firstborn. Is it?
No.
Yeah, it's the firstborn.
Yeah, that is true. He came.
Yeah.
He wanted to take all the firstborn, and then Batman thought of that plan.
Yeah.
By what did he do? He blew up the carriage.
He had the penguins. They all had the signal, and he rerouted the signal because
no, that's toward the end of the movie. That's when he out of nowhere in the middle of the fucking sewer has a bunch of missiles on all these damn penguins throughout the city.
Yeah, because they were all going to the center and they were going to shoot missiles. That and
I could have sworn Batman
the goons were getting the kids first.
I could have sworn Batman blew up that carriage, or he blew up the guy that was riding the carriage or something. I didn't watch the movie. I don't feel like rewatching. It was pretty stupid. I still remember the dumbness.
This guy. This fucking guy.
Anyway, here's my thing. Batman has this fucking submarine that's flying through the tunnels of Gotham, of the underground Gotham or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Has the little bumper guards and you can go upside down.
He has this big ass fucking submarine that's flying through these big ass. I don't know, man. Get the fuck out of here.
It's Batman. He's supposed to have all the cool, unrealistic toys.
And he does. And then the fighting is actually a lot better than the first one because I don't think he actually fought anybody in the first one.
It was vague. It wasn't
very vague.
It's kind of one-hit wonders.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I hit that guy, he's down. Like,
because I knew him and Catwoman were getting down a little bit, and then I think that was actually it. I don't think he actually fought any other guards in the movie.
They always have that one ninja guy.
Yeah,
like that guy that just comes out that either has nunchucks or blades or something that's fucking acts all badass, and then he one-hit wonders him too. Yeah. So every fucking movie.
Yeah. And then at the end of the movie,
of the originals,
he rips off the rubber cow to try to seduce Catwoman
to bring her back to the light. And she ends up having an electric suicide with Christopher Walken.
Fuck that! Christopher Walken shot this bitch like 8 fucking times.
She spent all 9 lives in that sewer, man.
Yeah, I mean, no. I guess bitch is more or less bulletproof from falling off that building.
Dude, I gotta go jump off the building.
But to get shot, it was at least 3 or 4 times, man.
I think it was 8, because I remember he had the countdown with the... Yeah. Okay. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Bitch must be on something. Fast forward into Batman Forever. I believe this is either 94, 96.
97.
97?
Pretty sure it was 97. Because
sure?
I'm pretty sure, because...
When did Batman and Robin come out?
We don't want to talk about that.
I think that's 97. I'm pretty sure this came out in 94. I'm pretty sure it was
99 or 95. 2001 that Batman and Robin came out.
No, this is most definitely a 90s movie. It did not come out. It couldn't come after 99.
Maybe it was 96.
Anyways, Batman Forever. I like Val Kilmer as Batman.
Oh, dude, I love Val Kilmer as Batman.
Him
and Michael Keaton were 2 of the best.
Yeah, I thought the discrepancies with the film again.
They went way more animated with that one.
Yeah.
They took it more kind of towards the animated series. The car was so much more badass. I love that blue neon. I would kill to have a replica of that car.
It was most definitely more comical, but wasn't funny.
I thought it wasn't too bad. Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face was a different twist to see him in that role.
Yeah.
Because he just doesn't strike as that role.
He shouldn't be funny, though.
They were. I think they were trying to make it more kid friendly, given the fact that the first 2 were so dark, and then you had Jim Carrey as Riddler. I think he made an awesome fucking Riddler.
It was horrible, man.
Dude, he was.
Are you joking? You joking, right?
No,
dude, it was horrible.
He was great. He was funny. He gave the Riddler a really funny. I can't with this guy. I just can't.
It was horrible. Let's talk about the plot of the movie. You ready for the plot?
Yeah, the plot was pretty bad. I'll admit that.
Apparently, the Riddler comes up with this mind-controlling fucking...
He steals people's thoughts, the brainwaves.
Uh-huh.
But
I thought it was like a mind control, because everybody was like
Basically to make them brain dead, like zombies. They were attached to the TV, which how most of the world is now too. Hi guys. And it was to suck all their thoughts, and so that he could get like bank account information and shit like that, and it basically just robbed Gotham blind.
What's Two-Face's plot?
Moral support.
He doesn't have one.
He's moral support.
There's actually, you can literally watch the whole movie without Two-Face, and he has no plot in the movie whatsoever. He's supposed to be.
He's the backbone of the Riddler. That's all. He's his henchman, basically.
He's supposed to be his muscle, supposedly. But then, again, there's literally no purpose of Two-Face being in the movie other than Two-Face killing Dick Grayson's parents. Yeah, that's it.
He made Robin. That was it.
Yeah, that is it.
I love his reactions.
Like, shit. And then you got Batman, who gets more and more radical with his stunts. Do we want to talk about the beginning of the movie?
Oh, with the safe and
the safe.
And then the hearing aid. It's like, really? Like, I mean,
first of all, there's lava or acid or some shit in each one of the
lock boxes.
How the fuck did he even have time to put lava or acid in all of the lock boxes in his elaborate plan for Batman?
Touche.
Like, fuck, dude.
We gotta get that guy like hired on at
Yeah, so it's flying, you know, and Batman's in there trying to pick the lock. He grabs the guy's earpiece like he doesn't have any fucking gadgets himself. Like he's like, this is amateur hour, you know, and he's trying to listen through the thickness of the cowl, of the rubber cowl in his
to hear the clicks and
my god,
it's that is pretty bad.
Yeah. He did have more gadgets.
And it was the ninja guy, too, at the beginning of that, too.
Yeah. He did fight more people. He did fight a lot more people, which is awesome.
Yeah, a little bit more action in the
a little bit more action. So. You know, he drops the safe.
And somehow ends up back perfectly in the fucking building.
Where it came from.
And then, the thing I don't get, though, is how? Because, okay, so it was hanging from that, and then the way his grappling hook shot, how would the measurements be anywhere close?
He shot it, busted toward the building, and it must have flew. There's no geometric or physics or whatever kind of way that the safe went right back into the fucking building. It would have dropped at the bottom or something. You know what I mean?
We're gonna ruin it for every kid.
Yeah. And then here's another thing. He puts his bat cowl or bat cape over.
The chopper.
The chopper.
And somehow doesn't get fucking cut up by the blades.
Hanging in between the blades that are just...
like, there ain't that much clearance between a helicopter and its blades like that.
No.
I've already been yelled at for trying to jump one on a skateboard, so it's like...
Yeah. That's pretty fucking hilarious to be.
Yeah. And then to go through because they fly through the eye originally, and then he thinks that he fell off and was killed in the blast, and then somehow is on top of the helicopter. In that short time frame, he was able to go from like 15, 20 feet down on a chain to magically on top of that motherfucker after going through an eye and exploding. Eye light.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Two-Face escaped that helicopter crash.
Yeah. And then it crashed into their version of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he dived out last minute.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about the Batmobile on the side of the building.
That was so fucking stupid.
I feel like Batman could have just drove up to the thing and shot up out of it. You know,
it's like,
but I guess
you could almost tell it was a toy too, because I'm pretty sure when it hit and they showed the undercarriage of it, there was no drive shaft, there was nothing. It was literally just a flat bottom and a fucking Hot Wheels on a tether cable going up the side of a building.
I believe that shit. Because they do have miniatures, like back in those days they built miniature sets.
I still have the toy of it too.
You know, they built miniature sets and had smaller cameras to to make explosions look bigger or more or whatever than it is.
Well, I remember how Adam West and the other Robin walked up the side of the buildings.
That's actually exactly how the fuck that car went up there. It's not even that. How the hell is that building even strong enough to hold the Batmobile?
Well, I mean, theoretically, it's on a cable, and it was being drug up it, so theoretically, the weight would...
Theoretically?
I'm putting some science behind it.
It's hanging on the...
It's hanging on a cable, so there's
No, it's not about the cable. It's hooked onto the top of the building.
That's true.
That ledge is not strong enough to hold a fucking Batmobile.
Weight reduction. He took the spare tire out.
Yeah, even then, it's the reasoning. Listening to the reasoning to why he's up on the side of the building is because Two-Face was shooting a rocket launcher at him. And it's like the Batmobile could take that rocket launcher?
He spent all his money on the neons.
Yeah.
He riced it. There was no armor.
It was all on the lights, right?
Yeah.
Dick Grayson finds out that he's Batman by sliding into the door of the secret entrance in the trophy room. Need I remind you that this motherfucker's like up on a balcony, like clear on the other end of the room. And when Alfred said, "Hey, where you at, dog?" and he's like, "Hey, I'm up here." It's like, okay. He goes in there and then what is it, like 30 seconds? He swings off of there.
Bertha parkour.
And then jumps on the window, slides down, and was able to slide into the trophy room. You know, that's not what's getting me. I understand. That's believable. But when Alfred told him, like, "Hey man, your boy stole your car," how the fuck is this average Joe dude going to be able to
operate the Batmobile?
Drive, get into the Batmobile?
I mean, I would assume he might have left his keys in it.
No, because I feel like even Batman has some sort of
protocol,
you know, that only he knows how to drive the car.
Fingerprint activate.
Yeah, I mean, he just knew how to drive it right out of the damn Batmobile or Batcave, you know.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, it sits on a rotator in all his caves. So how would he know which button activates the rotator? To send
maybe he threatened Alfred, like, "Hey man, show me how to
he
get
could
the
have
car."
power braked it and just did a little, burnout and
yeah. So they brought in Nicole Kidman because for whatever reason this dude can't keep a bitch to hold his life or to save his life or whatever. So they brought in Nicole Kidman, who
Chase
Meridian or something like that, who more or less tries to seduce Batman.
I mean, she was heavy on the prowl from the start.
Yeah. Like why the hell is she going to a call dressed like that? But whatever, I'll leave that alone.
Different kind of call.
It got to the point to where everybody and their mama found out that Bruce Wayne is Batman somehow, with the whole mind reading or whatever bullshit.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't say everybody. It was mostly all the villains found out. I mean, Riddler knew.
Well, that's what I mean by everybody's like, his secret identity really doesn't stay a secret. You know,
it's worse than the fucking Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because everybody finds out about it.
Yeah,
you know. But whatever. Two-Face and Riddler raid his house. Like he doesn't have a fucking security system.
Right. It on Halloween for trick or treat, and then they just like bust through, knock Alfred over.
How the fuck did they get past the gate?
I mean, if it was Halloween, kids were in and out trick or treating.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, you could easily tell that was two grown-ass men sitting there through the people. Trick or treat.
Yeah. And then
I'm like, how are you gonna fucking miss it? You are Batman's right-hand man in security and helping him, and you can't tell that's two grown-ass men with some fucking masks on Halloween about to bullshit you and do some shit.
I guess the Riddler broke into the Batcave easier than fucking
right? Right? And then he had the little like bat bomb things with the question mark
blowing shit up.
Blew up the fucking Batmobile, not the good one.
Again, with no security system, like he's just able to turn off all the security systems in the whole fucking.
It's like you think you'd have
Batcave.
You literally got trained by Ra's al Ghul, and you don't have like some fucking knockout gas like when somebody invades your Batcave. Like seriously, like
it's
guard
bad.
Something like.
And so, Batman or Bruce is fighting all the other people.
Then he gets shot.
Gets shot in the head.
Yeah, bullet skinned him. And
Like ricocheted off his skull
piece,
or something like that. I don't know.
And then slid down. Nicole Kidman's character gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a love rescue mission, and then Robin finally gets his leathers.
Yeah.
And then Batman gets that like really spoofed up suit with like the Invisibat thing going on.
More or less, he let Robin join the fight without any training whatsoever. I mean, I guess he knows how to fight somewhat, but I mean, how does he know how to use any of the gadgets? How does he even know how to drive these big,
because
heavy
he gets,
machines?
He gets the bat boat thing.
The boat thing,
yeah.
and then he's flying the helicopter or the Batwing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. You would think. There's some plot holes.
Some?
A lot of plot holes. But they were Batman movies. They're supposed to have plot holes.
Yeah.
Because they're awesome.
Yeah. It was that point in time where movies were... Not that they were getting too realistic or trying to get too realistic, but they were...
Getting lazy on the writing a little bit,
Getting very lazy on the writing. Very lazy on the writing. Because again, we have this whole rule of Batman not killing anybody. And he literally just let Two-Face just fall in the vat of acid at the end of the movie. Even after he told Dick, like, hey man, don't want to kill this dude. There's no killing.
Go down that path.
Blah, blah, blah. Let me do it. You're good. You know,
and then,
kind of
then
thing.
literally takes his kill.
Yeah.
It's like some shit in Halo. No. I get that kill. No assist. I get that kill.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And then Riddler basically goes batshit crazy at the end and ends up in Arkham.
Yeah.
So then he calls Nicole Kidman's character, and because he says he knows the identity of Batman, and instead he's just fucking loony, and he's like, I'm Batman.
Yeah. I feel like you don't lose information if your mind goes wacky. I don't know.
I've never had
realistic with it.
Never had a thing feed me a bunch of information in my head and then
this is true.
Explode because some dude with a Batwing and blew it up.
It's not like it's a computer though. The mind is not like it's a computer where you could just delete files. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I figure it'd be like electroshock therapy in a sense. Like his brain just gets shocked too hard. And
yeah, but he remembers how to walk. He remembers how to talk. He remembers all this other stuff. How's he not going to remember the events that transpired in the last 2 days or 2 weeks or 2 months?
I mean, I could kind of go in on some explaining on that because it has how many concussions, but
whatever. Oh, and before we move on to the next one,
I don't want to.
You have another guy that's falling from the high end of a fucking building into, I guess, a water reservoir when the Riddler killed his boss or whatever.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck is the Riddler going to change the video of him killing himself?
That's a very good plot hole in that.
Like, come on, man. Like, he made this whole other new video of the boss walking off and jumping off the building. When he could have just said, oh, he just, fell off the building or some shit like that. But how did he recreate that video?
Bruh.
It's alright. Think about it. Just breathe first.
What the fuck? I mean,
I got him. He's lost. I lost him.
I mean, that's long before Photoshop and other shit. Like, I mean, it's Gotham.
Maybe, Gotham. Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, yeah, he's got me there though, because
what was his job? Wasn't he like a data analyst or something
like that? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not like a computer programmer.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Some basic bitch shit.
Yeah.
Somehow came up with the popcorn idea on top of it.
Yeah.
That's literally what it looked like. It was fucking popcorn tins.
Yeah. I think we got 5 more minutes, maybe 10 more minutes to talk about Batman and Robin.
I'm good with 5. Fuck that movie.
First off, it lost all of its quote-unquote darkness of the film. Even with Val Kilmer, he still played somewhat of a
darker Batman.
Dark Batman, you know. But Val Kilmer just went out, or George Clooney went out there and just started talking with his regular voice every time he went in that bat suit.
There, like, that whole fucking movie plot, casting on it was all bad. Like, they kept the original Alfred through all the movies, so I'll give that to them.
Kept the Robin. Actually, kept the Robin. Kept the original Commissioner Gordon through all the movies.
They kept him too. But then you have the Arnold as Mr. Freeze. Tonight Gotham will freeze.
It's not so much about Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze. It's his plot of the movie. Like, he's not, the whole idea of Mr. Freeze,
he was always trying to save Nora.
Was trying to save his wife, but then he wanted to, like, freeze the city or some shit like that.
Out of revenge towards Batman, which I never really specified why the fuck he had a vendetta against Batman to start with, up till the point of him just trying to stop him this time.
You know?
And then you had Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't see that one.
This was before Kill Bill, so yeah.
I'd love to try to do the whistle thing, but
yeah, she didn't. I don't know what the fuck she was doing with her career at that point of her playing Poison Ivy.
I wonder what the fuck any of them was doing with their career with that one.
Oh, I would say this is probably the highest. This is probably at George Clooney's highest. You know,
okay,
it was toward the end of the 90s. I don't know if this was before or after he did the first Ocean's. No, this was after. This was before. He did Batman before.
Ocean's 11 was the only thing that theoretically saved that man's career after that show. Because that movie was... Oh, dude. I can see why Val Kilmer didn't come back on for that one, because he probably read that script and was like, are you guys fucking retarded?
Yeah. They brought in Alicia Silverstone to play... Batgirl.
Or Batwoman, or whatever you want to call her.
No training... No, nothing.
Figures out how to get into the Batcave.
Yeah.
Figures out all his shit in a matter of a few minutes.
Tells the Batcomputer.
Okay, and then...
Tells the Batcomputer to suit her up.
And then the biggest fucking plot hole, because where the story is just completely off. Barbara was not related to Alfred. It was Gordon's daughter.
Yeah.
And... fucking Batman was banging her, and that was the only reason that was the only fucking reason she was Batwoman.
Yeah, I totally forgot that they added the whole thing in the movie where Alfred was dying or some shit like that.
And it was his niece or some shit, and I'm like,
dude,
no, it's not. Like, that's not how that happened. It was all wrong. Like, by that time, she was established in the comic books as Gordon's daughter. Like,
she was a blonde, not a redhead.
Yeah, like, again, casting was so fucking far off on this movie. Like, there was so many, like, no disrespect to the actors themselves, but they just didn't fit the bill for the characters.
Even like the action was like really,
and the lines were so
really
fucking Teenage
Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of shit. You know?
Right.
They were just doing a bunch of high kicks, a bunch of throws, and
just
I can't remember them actually ever punching anybody.
It was more or less just like defensive maneuver. It was like watching a Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah, just fast hands, you know. Here's some trivia for you that'll trip you out. You ready? So there are many scenes where you have, Batman, Robin, Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting, all this other shit. But you're never going to see Chris O'Donnell and Arnold Schwarzenegger in the same frame of the camera. So they couldn't
I forgot that Bane.
Yeah, they totally did. Anyway, back to my thing.
Oh.
They couldn't get their schedules together, so they can never actually film at the same time. So anytime you see them talking to each other, they're like talking to the person not being there. It's very choppy. So anytime you see Arnold Schwarzenegger talking to Robin, or Robin, like some sort of interaction, even in the missile scene, they're not actually together in the scene. They're just, flipping back and forth from the cameras.
No shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
I thought that was kind of hilarious.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, we forgot they had Bane. Dude, the scrawny little guy.
What the hell was up with that? I totally forgot that he was in there. And he wasn't even that buff.
He
was
looked like a fucking chihuahua.
He was a fat fuck.
Well, the little guy looked like Chihuahua. Yeah, yeah, for real though. He looked like a friggin'. He looks like the airbag you would throw somebody out onto.
Yeah, why didn't they get Arnold to play Bane? That would
actually that would have made more sense.
You know,
like that. Then he would break you.
Yeah,
he's going to break Batman.
They fucked that up on that one. And of course he squeezing the life out of these two bitches at the end of the movie, and they just
pull the cord.
They kicked the cord out, and then that was it. Like Bane is done. Right. Like, I don't think that worked like that.
And he was supposed to break Batman's back too. So that was the thing.
They didn't do that.
They didn't.
Made his suit all shiny and shit with all the silver and all that.
Yeah,
like, that was a little cheesy.
I didn't like that. Again, I just didn't like anything about Batman and Robin. It was such a shit movie.
Yeah, it was very bad.
It's like literally when I was going out to get all the original Batman movies on DVD, I was like, I avoided the 4-pack. I literally bought them single. Like I was like, there is no way. Like there will be no support to this. Like I don't want this in my collection. If my daughter ever asks me, Dad, where's Batman and Robin? It don't exist. It got deleted from history.
Yeah, we don't think about that one. It's one of those we don't talk about that movie.
Voldemort, you do not speak his name.
Anyway, moving right along. That's the end of this episode. Check us next week
for the Dark Knight
trilogy. The Dark Knight trilogy. Christian Bale
and a sore throat. All 3 movies.
Gary Oldman, Michael Caine,
Heath Ledger.
Well, I was thinking about all of them. That was all in all 3 of the movies.
Yeah, fair. Tim was in all 3 movies.
No, he was only in the second one.
No, I thought he was in the first one.
He was not in the first one. They have the other lord got killed in the first one.
That's right. Yep. Okay.
Anyway, check us out there, Jimmy, James, Socials Productions, and Movie Reviews. We'll see you guys next week.